in Calcutta, British India on September 17, 1892, John Reginald Noble Graham, the son of Sir Frederick Graham, spent his youth being educated at Eton and Trinity Colleges in London and Cambridge, respectively. He was in his 20s when war was declared in 1914 and joined up. He was commissioned into the 9th Battalion Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders in 1916, where he was attached to the 136th Company of the Machine Gun Corps, who was sent to Mesopotamia.
The 136th Machine Gun Company was formed at Gibraltar from the machine gun sections of a second-line Highland Division, possibly the 64th Division. There was one section each from the 6th, 8th and 9th Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, and one from the Highland Light Infantry. On attachment to the 7th Meerut Division of the Indian Army in Mesopotamia in August 1916, they were attached to the 28th Infantry Brigade, which included the 2nd Battalion Leicestershire Regiment, 51st and 53rd Sikhs, and the 56th Punjabi Rifles. The company in Mesopotamia was organised in the same way as that across the Machine Gun Corps, with 4 sections of 4 guns each. Where a section contained 2 officers, they would sometimes command a pair of guns each and act semi-independently, as was in Reginald Graham's case during the action for which he was awarded the Victoria Cross. The nominal strength of the section was 34 men, but it was soon depleted and down to 14 men during the Estabelet action. The first action in which 136th Company took part was the 24th of February 1917 at Samarra. Then 9th to 10th of March, operations on the Tigris Bank, and the 11th of March, the occupation of Baghdad. On the 14th of March, the action at Estabelet, and then the 24th of April was the occupation of Samarra. Later, on the 2nd of November 1917, they fought at Doha, before becoming lines of communication troops in January 1918, having moved to Egypt. They would form part of the 7th Indian Battalion, the Machine Gun Corps, when it was formed in March 1918, and this then supported the division as it advanced into Palestine, where it continued until the end of the war.
Reginald would see action here during the Samarra Offensive, in which a combined Indian and British force were facing the armies of the Ottoman Empire. During the offensive, Reginald would be awarded a Victoria Cross for heroism under fire on the 22nd of April 1917. In a letter home to his mother in March 1917, Graham wrote in his diary detailing the movement and actions of the men and guns under his command in the days leading up to his VC actions. 20th April. Note by John Reginald Noble Graham. This was all written later on rejoining the old company. Moved up to new positions in order to attack Istabelat's position. 21st. Istabelat attacked and carried enemy's main position. Our brigade was in reserve. Clark and his section were sent forward with one of our native infantry units and came in for some baddish shelling. No casualties. We had an excellent view from the top of the median wall. There is a brief mention in the diary of the action on the 22nd of April. 10 a.m. first enemy shells came over, attacked enemy secondary position about 4 p.m, wounded about 5:30 or 6 p.m. Graham's medal citation from the London Gazette give us further insight into the lieutenant's exploits that day. Lieutenant Graham accompanied his guns across open ground, under very heavy rifle and machine gun fire, and when his men became casualties, he assisted in carrying the ammunition. Although twice wounded, he continued during the advance to control his guns and was able, with one gun, to open an accurate fire on the enemy, who were massing for a counterattack. The gun was put out of action by the enemy's rifle fire, and he was again wounded. The advancing enemy forced him to retire, but before doing so, he further disabled his gun, rendering it useless. He then brought a Lewis gun into action with excellent effect till all the ammunition was expended. He was then again severely wounded and forced, through loss of blood, to retire. His valour and skillful handling of his guns held up a strong counterattack, which threatened to roll up the left flank of the brigade, and thus averted what might have been a very critical situation. Gazetted in September 1917, the first Machine Gun Corps Victoria Cross to be announced. After his bravery under fire, Graham was taken to the casualty clearing station and was soon transferred to a hospital in Baghdad to recover from his wounds. He recounted his ordeal to his mother in a letter on the 28th of April 1917. We came under terrific rifle and MG crossfire. 9 out of 14 of my 2 teams were hit, and myself as well. My servant Rennie was killed, poor wee devil. I was hit in the right hand first. It has smashed the tip of my first finger and thumb, and laid open the big muscle down to the wrist. There is a nasty, dirty wound. No bones touched. I got a second through the right leg, just in the rear of the shin bone and knee. A few minutes later, this one has numbed my foot a bit, but I can use it and it is already better. Number 3 is a graze across the right cheek, just below my right eye. A scar for life, but that does not matter. Number 4 went through my MG and got me in the left forearm. In and out in 2 halves, inches, flesh wound only. The last 2 were snipers, as I tried to mount and fire the gun. Number 5 I got a quarter of an hour later. So here I am, about as lucky as I could be, 6 wounds, and not a bone touched, not a bullet in me. Heat is ghastly. This hospital is not good, and far too busy. Once he had healed, Graham was promoted to captain and went back to Mesopotamia, and served until January of 1918, when the company transferred to Palestine. While there, he took command, obtaining the rank of major. He would later serve through the Second World War as lieutenant colonel, and received both the MBE and Norwegian King Haakon's 7th Liberty Cross for his service. Graham's Victoria Cross is normally held in Stirling Castle at the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders Museum, and a memorial stone was unveiled in 2017 at the Cardos War Memorial in Scotland. The VC will be present at the VMGCRA Spotlight Saturday event on the 16th of July 2022 at the National Army Museum. The VMGRCA are currently taking pre-orders of a book about Graham's experiences of the Great War, featuring a transcript of his personal diary and papers along with sketches drawn during the conflict. For more, and to pre-order your copy, use the link in the description below. Many of these men did not consider themselves heroes, but these stories give us an insight into the actions that more soldiers would have experienced, possibly carrying out similar but without the subsequent recognition. These videos form a part of a year of events to remember the Corps and its disbandment in 1922. And be sure to join us on the 16th of July at the National Army Museum in London to learn more. For more on the Machine Gun Corps and the Vickers gun, make sure to follow the Vickers MG Collection and Research Association on social media, and stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And stay tuned for more military history.